If you're in this room, chances are you care about creating change in the world. Chances are also that you've experienced challenges in working to create that change, either in your own work or in your partnerships with others. So I think we can all agree that working to create change, take an idea all the way to impact is really, really hard. So I'm a professor of human-centered design and engineering. And in human-centered design, we solve problems. We do that by engaging with users and working with them throughout a development process. And then we create solutions. And a few years ago, I got really interested with why is impact so hard? And it occurred to me that the principles of human-centered design might give us an alternative way of thinking about impact. And they might actually give us a way to get to impact. So I started a company called Shift Labs. And our goal with Shift Labs is to build medical devices and change healthcare for 6 billion people in the world. And we do that by building products, but also by creating an ecosystem, a platform, if you will, that's designed to take ideas and drag them through that valley of death to the point where they can be on a pathway to sustainable scale. And we do that by using the principles of human-centered design to drive all of our organizational strategy. So I'll give you 3 examples of how we do that. And the first is, how do we choose what to build? The second is, how do we build it? And the third is, how do we share it? How do we get it out there so that it can scale and be sustainable? So the first, how do we choose what to build? So in the US, if you're going to build a medical device, a typical development pathway is you start with a core technology, and you attach that to a reimbursement code, which is in turn attached to a known medical procedure. And that gives you a sense of the price point, and you can build a business model around that price point. So we used a human-centered design strategy in figuring out what to build in our company. And so we went out and we met with users, with clinicians, and we said, hey, what's hard about your life? Lots of things are hard about their life. So we came back, and then we met with the engineering team, and we said, okay, which of these problems could we solve at an affordable price point? There were a lot of really compelling and interesting problems that it turned out we couldn't solve at the price point we wanted. So we went to a subset where we were confident that the technological capabilities in front of us would allow us to create an appropriately priced solution. So we started with people, and then we moved to technology. And that's a human-centered strategy. So the second is, how do you build it? And before I actually go through that, I'm going to do a little aside and tell you what I'm talking about here. This is the problem that we ended up solving for. It has to do with medication management. So if anytime you're in the hospital and you've got a needle going into your vein and it's giving you drugs, here in the US you'll have like a pump on the pole, costs thousands of dollars, and it's controlling how much medication you get. But if you're not in a US hospital, if you're pretty much anywhere else in the world or even in a home in the US, this is how you're going to get your drugs. And I'm talking anesthesia during surgery or chemotherapy, pretty much anything. Nurse is going to look at this chamber over here, and they're going to use this clamp, and they're going to start the flow, and then they're going to count the drops as they fall. And they're going to use their watch and time them. They're going to do some mental math to make sure that you're getting the right amount of medication. And I can guarantee you, we know this from research, 4 out of 5 times they're doing it wrong. So we built this device here, this DripAssist Infusion Rate Monitor. And what it does is it makes sure that you get the right amount of chemo or antibiotics or anesthesia. So how did we build it? Well, when we set out, again, human-centered design strategy, we knew it needed to be affordable. But we also knew it needed to be durable. We knew that it needed to be simple, that that training regimes are different everywhere. So we wanted it to be really fast to learn, simple to use. We also knew that supply chains are challenging. So we wanted to build a product that wasn't going to require any calibration or maintenance, that wouldn't need a proprietary consumable. And then it came to power, and we knew we wanted it to be battery operated. Now these chambers that you see here, they vary in size all over the world. And so we needed to have some flexibility in our design strategy. And we wanted to use a coin cell battery because that gave us the most flexibility. Well, it turns out if you build something with a coin cell battery, once the battery runs out, that device is going to go in a drawer and no one's ever going to use it again. I'm going to guess that some of you have Fitbits or other devices that have suffered that fate. So it turns out we needed to use a AA battery. AA's are a lot larger. They come with all kinds of design constraints. It increased our engineering burden probably tenfold. It took us 9 months to solve the attachment problem because we needed to use that AA battery. But that was a business strategy that was guided by human-centered design principles rather than a technology-first decision. So what to build, how to build it, and then how to share it. So we want scale. That is our goal. And that means we need partners. And we want partners who are force multipliers. That means distributors. So clinicians love our product. Distributors, not so much. And I'm talking not just the leadership of a distribution company, I'm talking about field sales reps, people out there doing the work every day. Having an inexpensive product that does not have a recurring revenue component because it doesn't have a consumable by design means that distributors don't love it the same way clinicians do. So what we do is we step back, we use human-centered design principles to think about a strategy to allow us to get to scale and be sustainable. And what that means is, in concrete terms for DripAssist, we now have a version of the product that does have a proprietary consumable so that we can work with that subset of distributors who need that revenue stream in order to be successful. We step back, we iterate, we use empathy, we listen to the multiple constituents who make up our customer base. Clinicians are not the only ones. And so taken together, what these strategies do is they enable us to move forward with our product development and reach the customers who need it. And that's our goal. We want to move from idea to impact. And human-centered principles are what allow us to do that and get to the point where ultimately we can delight our customers, regardless of who they are or where they are in the world. Thank you.